Dear listeners, welcome to Whimsy Woven Stories, where Reddit's tales come alive in mesmerizing narratives.
I never thought a simple search for a recipe would unravel my entire world. It was a typical Tuesday evening. Lisa had taken Emily to her ballet class, leaving me alone with the remnants of dinner on the table. As I cleared the plates, I noticed Lisa's phone lying innocently beside her empty chair. She often left it lying around unlocked, trusting, and transparent in our 10 years together. Curiosity piqued. I picked up the phone, intending to find the meatloaf recipe she had mentioned earlier. The screen illuminated with a familiar touch, and without a second thought, I navigated to her browser app. But there, among the open tabs, was a video file. It had a time-missed amp from earlier that day. Thinking it might be a cooking tutorial or a cute moment with Emily, I tapped on it, expecting to see my wife's bright smile or a familiar kitchen scene. What greeted me instead shattered my reality into a million jagged pieces. The video started with a blurred shot, as if someone had mistakenly recorded their own feet. Then the camera steadied, revealing a dimly lit bedroom. My heart thudded in my chest as the scene unfolded before me, a man's voice, familiar yet out of place, murmuring sweet nothings. And there, on the bed, was Lisa. My Lisa. Her eyes closed in ecstasy as she kissed another man passionately. I froze, unable to comprehend what I was seeing. The room spun around me, and my fingers trembled as I replayed the video, hoping against hope that it was some cruel joke or a misunderstanding. But each time, the truth stared back at me unflinchingly. Lisa, the love of my life, was cheating on me. Anger, disbelief, and a raw, crushing pain flooded through me in a torrent. How could she? Why would she? Questions swirled in my mind, each more agonizing than the last. I sank onto the couch, clutching the phone like a lifeline. The weight of betrayal pressed down on me, suffocating and unrelenting. Tears burned my eyes as I struggled to make sense of the devastation before me. The minutes stretched into eternity as I sat there, paralyzed by the betrayal etched into pixels on Lisa's phone. The home we had built together, the trust we had nurtured over a decade, now lay shattered at my feet. And with each passing second, the realization sank deeper. I had just witnessed the end of everything I held dear. I sat there on a couch, staring blankly at Lisa's phone clutched tightly in my hand. The video continued to loop in my mind, each replay twisting the knife of betrayal deeper into my heart. 1,000 thoughts raced through my mind, but one burned brighter than the rest. I had to confront Lisa. I needed answers. My heart pounded in my chest as I waited, every passing second stretching into an agonizing eternity. Footsteps echoed down the hallway, and I heard the front door open. Lisa's cheerful voice called out, "James, I'm home." I stood up slowly, my legs trembling beneath me. She entered the living room, her smile fading into concern when she saw my expression. "James, what's wrong? Are you okay?" Without a word, I held up her phone, my hand shaking uncontrollably. Her eyes widened in shock as she glanced at the screen, then back at me, her mouth opening and closing soundlessly. I couldn't speak. Anger, hurt, and confusion fought for dominance within me, choking my voice into silence. The seconds stretched between us, heavy with unspoken accusations and shattered trust. Finally, Lisa managed to find her voice. "James, I can't explain," she stammered, her eyes filling with tears. "Please, let me explain." Her words fell on deaf ears. I felt numb, disconnected from the reality unfolding before me. My mind replayed our years together, every cherished memory now tainted by the knowledge of her betrayal. "You promised me." I managed to choke out, my voice barely a whisper. "You promised me forever." Lisa's tears flowed freely now. She reached out a trembling hand toward me, but I stepped back instinctively as if her touch would burn me. "I'm so sorry, James," she sobbed, her voice raw with desperation. "It was a mistake. It meant nothing. Please believe me." Her pleas echoed hollowly in the room. I wanted to believe her, to grasp onto any semblance of the life we had built together. But the image of her with another man, the passion in her eyes that was meant only for me, haunted me like a relentless ghost. "I need some air," I managed to say, my voice strained and distant. Without waiting for her response, I turned and walked out of the house, leaving Lisa standing there, her cries echoing in my ears. The world outside was a blur. I stumbled blindly down the street, my mind racing and my heart in turmoil. Everything I thought I knew, everything I believed in, had been torn away in an instant. As the reality of Lisa's betrayal settled into my bones, I realized that this was just the beginning of a journey I never wanted to take. A journey through the wreckage of a marriage that had once been my anchor, now adrift in a sea of lies and deceit. I couldn't avoid it. The confrontation with Lisa had to happen, no matter how much I wanted to delay the inevitable. My mind replayed our marriage vows, the promises we made to each other, now ringing hollow in the face of her betrayal. When I returned home later that evening, the house felt suffocatingly silent. Lisa was in the living room, sitting on the couch with her head in her hands. She looked up as I entered, her eyes red and swollen from crying. "James, please," she started, her voice trembling with emotion. "Let's talk. I need to explain everything." I stood in the doorway, my emotions a tempest raging inside me. Part of me wanted to scream, to demand answers and accountability. Another part wanted to collapse into her arms, to believe that this nightmare was just a cruel mistake. I walked over to her slowly, my steps heavy and deliberate. I sank into the armchair across from her, not trusting myself to stand too close. Silence hung between us, thick and heavy with unspoken words. "Why, Lisa?" The question escaped my lips before I could stop it, bitter and accusing. She flinched at my words, her hands fidgeting nervously in her lap. "I don't know, James," she whispered, tears streaming down her cheeks. "It was a mistake. I never meant to hurt you." Her words cut through me like a knife. "Who is he?" I demanded, my voice sharper than intended. "How long has this been going on?" Lisa hesitated, her eyes avoiding mine. "His name is Greg," she admitted finally, her voice barely audible. "It started a few months ago. I was feeling neglected, and he was there for me. Neglected?" The word echoed in my mind, a painful accusation against everything I thought I had provided for her. Guilt mingled with anger inside me, a toxic brew threatening to consume my reason. "You chose him over us," I said quietly, the weight of her betrayal settling like a lead weight on my chest. "No, James, never." She protested vehemently, reaching out a hand toward me. I recoiled instinctively, the image of her with Greg burned into my mind. "I need time," I managed to say, my voice hoarse with emotion. "I need to think." Lisa nodded silently, her tears falling unchecked. I stood up abruptly, unable to bear the sight of her pain any longer. Without another word, I turned and walked out of the room, leaving Lisa alone with her tears and the shattered remnants of our life together. Outside, the night air was cool against my skin, a sharp contrast to the turmoil raging within me. I walked aimlessly down the empty street, wrestling with the betrayal that had ripped my world apart. As I wandered through the darkness, the realization sank in with brutal clarity. Our marriage, once strong and steadfast, was now hanging by a thread, and I didn't know if it could ever be mended. The days that followed blurred together in a haze of pain and disbelief. Each morning brought a crushing weight upon waking, a stark reminder of the shattered trust and the gaping hole in my heart. I retreated into myself, grappling with emotions that threatened to overwhelm me at every turn. Anger, hurt, and a profound sense of loss swirled within me, leaving me adrift in a sea of confusion. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. Images of Lisa with Greg haunted my thoughts, tormenting me with their betrayal. The life we had built together seemed like a cruel illusion, shattered beyond repair. My emotions spilled over uncontrollably. I found myself sobbing uncontrollably in the quiet of the night, the weight of betrayal pressing down on me like a suffocating blanket. The pain was physical, a tightness in my chest that never seemed to ease. I avoided Lisa as much as possible, unable to face her without feeling a surge of rage and hurt. The home we had shared felt foreign now, each room a reminder of what we had lost. Emily, our daughter, sensed the tension in the air. She asked questions I couldn't bear to answer, her innocent eyes searching for reassurance that I couldn't give. I tried to shield her from the truth, to protect her from the pain that threatened to engulf us all. Friends and family reached out, offering words of comfort and support, but their well-meaning gestures only served to remind me of how public our private pain had become. I withdrew further, cocooning myself in a bubble of solitude that offered little solace. In moments of clarity, I wondered how we had come to this point. Was our marriage truly as strong as I had believed? Had I missed the signs of Lisa's discontent, the cracks in our foundation that had allowed someone else to slip in? But even as I questioned myself, a deeper truth emerged. I had loved Lisa with all my heart. I had believed in our future, in the promises we had made to each other. And now, those promises lay broken at my feet. I tried to make sense of it all, to find a reason for the pain that consumed me. But there were no easy answers, no quick fixes for the shattered pieces of my heart. And so I allowed myself to feel, to mourn the loss of the life I had known, to grieve for the trust that had been torn away. In the depths of my despair, I clung to the flicker of hope that someday, somehow, I would find a way to heal. In the midst of heartbreak and turmoil, memories of happier times flooded my mind like a bittersweet symphony. Each flashback was a poignant reminder of the love and joy we had once shared, juxtaposed painfully against the reality of betrayal. I remembered our wedding day vividly, the warmth of the summer sun on our faces as we exchanged vows, promising to love and cherish each other for all eternity. Lisa had looked radiant in her gown, her eyes sparkling with happiness and love. My heart had swelled with pride and joy, knowing that I had found my soulmate. The birth of Emily was another cherished memory etched into my heart. I recalled the overwhelming rush of emotions as I held her for the first time, tiny and fragile, in my arms. Lisa had been exhausted but radiant, her smile lighting up the room as we marveled at the miracle of new life. Our family vacations flashed before my eyes, the laughter and shared adventures that had strengthened our bond over the years. From camping trips in the mountains to lazy days at the beach, each moment had been a testament to our love and commitment. But now, those memories felt tainted, overshadowed by the knowledge of Lisa's betrayal. I wondered how I could reconcile the woman I had loved so deeply with a person who had shattered our life together. As I immersed myself in these memories, I searched for clues, for signs that I had missed along the way. Had there been moments when Lisa had pulled away, when her smiles had masked hidden doubts and desires? I replayed conversations in my mind, searching for the hidden meanings behind her words. Had there been hints of discontent that I had dismissed as fleeting worries? Or had I been so caught up in the routine of daily life that I had failed to see the cracks forming beneath the surface? Guilt gnawed at me, a relentless companion in my journey through the past. Had I been a loving husband, attentive to Lisa's needs and desires? Or had I become complacent, taking our marriage for granted as time slipped by unnoticed? Emily's laughter echoed in my ears, a reminder of the innocent joy that had once filled our home. She deserved better than the pain and uncertainty that now surrounded us. I vowed silently to shield her from the storm raging within me, to preserve her innocence in the face of our fractured family. But as I delved deeper into our shared history, I found moments of clarity amidst the confusion. Our love had been real, our bond forged through years of shared dreams and aspirations. And though betrayal had shaken me to my core, I clung to the belief that love, even in its darkest moments, had the power to heal and transform. So I allowed myself to linger in these memories, to find solace in the echoes of our past, for amidst the pain and heartache there remained a flicker of hope, a belief that someday the wounds would heal and we would find our way back to each other once more. After the initial shock and emotional turmoil, I found myself grasping for any semblance of stability and solace amidst the chaos that had engulfed my life. In the weeks that followed the discovery of Lisa's betrayal, I sought refuge in familiar places and trusted confidence. Mark, my best friend since college, became my anchor in the storm. He welcomed me into his home without hesitation, offering a safe haven where I could retreat from the relentless ache in my heart. We spent hours talking about life, love, and the unpredictable twists that fate could throw our way. Mark listened without judgment as I poured out my anguish and confusion. His presence alone was a balm to my wounded spirit, a reminder that I was not alone in my pain. Together we sifted through the shards of my shattered marriage, piecing together fragments of understanding amidst the wreckage. His wife, Sarah, also extended her support in quiet gestures of kindness. She cooked comforting meals and brewed endless cups of coffee, filling the silence with warmth and compassion. In their home, I found moments of respite from the overwhelming grief that threatened to consume me. Outside the sanctuary of Mark and Sarah's home, I sought solace in the familiarity of routine. I resumed my daily runs through the neighborhood, the rhythmic pounding of my footsteps a cathartic release for the turmoil within. The cool morning air brushed against my skin, grounding me in the present moment amidst the whirlwind of emotions. Music became my refuge, each melody a lifeline that anchored me to moments of peace amidst the storm. I found solace in lyrics that spoke to the depths of human experience, love, loss, and a resilient spirit that endures in the face of adversity. Music became my companion during sleepless nights, a soundtrack to the restless thoughts that plagued my mind. Yet amidst the search for solace, the specter of Lisa's betrayal loomed large. Her voice echoed in my thoughts, her tearful apologies haunting my dreams. I wrestled with conflicting emotions, anger at her betrayal, sorrow for the shattered dreams we had once shared, and a stubborn flicker of hope that whispered of reconciliation. In moments of clarity, I allowed myself to consider the possibility of forgiveness. Lisa's pleas for a second chance echoed in my mind, tugging at the fragile threads of love that still bound us together. Could our marriage withstand the wounds inflicted by betrayal? Was there room for healing amidst the scars that marked our shared history? These questions lingered unanswered as I navigated the tumultuous terrain of grief and forgiveness. Each day brought new challenges and revelations, pushing me to confront the complexities of love and human frailty. And through it all, I clung to the hope that amidst the shattered pieces of my heart, there lay the potential for redemption and renewal. Lisa's efforts to reconcile started almost immediately after our confrontation. She bombarded me with messages and calls, pleading for forgiveness and a chance to make things right. Each attempt tore at the fragile boundaries I'd erected around my wounded heart. Her messages ranged from heartfelt apologies to desperate declarations of love. She poured out her regrets, admitting her betrayal with a raw honesty that pierced through my anger and confusion. And yet, her words sparked a conflict within me, a battle between the love I once felt for her and the deep hurt of her betrayal. I found myself oscillating between moments of anger and vulnerability. One moment, I would delete her messages unread, unable to bear the sight of her name on my phone screen. The next, I would listen to her voicemails in the darkness of night, searching for a trace of the woman I had loved. In person, Lisa's presence was a constant reminder of the life we had once shared. She approached me cautiously, her eyes filled with tears and regret. Her touch, once familiar and comforting, now felt like a betrayal in itself, a reminder of the intimacy she had shared with another man. "I love you, James," she would say, her voice trembling with emotion. "I made a terrible mistake, but I swear it meant nothing compared to what we have." Her words echoed hollowly in the space between us. I struggled to reconcile the woman standing before me with the image of the wife who had shattered my trust. Could I forgive her? Could our marriage survive the breach of fidelity that had torn us apart? At times, I entertained the possibility of reconciliation. I attended marriage counseling sessions with Lisa, hoping to untangle the web of hurt and betrayal that had ensnared us both. The therapist guided us through painful conversations, encouraging us to confront the issues that had driven us apart. Yet, despite my efforts to understand, doubts lingered in the corners of my mind. Could I trust Lisa again? Could I let go of the anger and resentment that threatened to consume me? The wounds of betrayal ran deep, leaving scars that no amount of counseling could erase. Outside our sessions, I sought counsel from trusted friends and family. Their advice varied, from urging me to give Lisa a second chance to cautioning me against risking further heartache. I listened intently, weighing their words against the turmoil in my own heart. Through it all, Emily remained a constant beacon of hope and responsibility. Her innocent laughter and curious questions reminded me of the stakes involved, the impact of our decisions on her young heart and fragile sense of security. As the days stretched into weeks, I grappled with the weight of my decision. Could I find the strength to forgive Lisa and rebuild our shattered marriage? Or was it time to acknowledge the painful truth that some wounds run too deep to heal, no matter how much love once filled the space between us? The weight of uncertainty and conflicting emotions continued to bear down on me as I navigated the tumultuous aftermath of Lisa's betrayal. Despite my reservations and lingering doubts, I knew that understanding the full extent of her affair was essential for any hope of healing or moving forward. I approached Lisa cautiously one evening, the air thick with unspoken tension between us. We sat in the living room, the space that had once felt like a sanctuary, now fraught with the remnants of our shattered trust. "I need to know, Lisa," I began, my voice steady but tinged with the ache of betrayal. "Tell me everything about Greg, about your affair." Lisa's eyes filled with tears, but she met my gaze with a determination born of remorse. She took a deep breath, her words tumbling out in a rush as she recounted the painful truth. "It started innocently," she explained, her voice trembling. "Greg and I worked closely together, and we became friends. He listened to me when I felt neglected, when I needed someone to talk to." Her confession cut through me like a knife. I listened in silence as she detailed the progression of their relationship, from shared lunches and coffee breaks to late-night conversations that blurred the boundaries of friendship. And then she hesitated, her voice barely above a whisper. "One night it crossed a line. I was vulnerable, James. I made a terrible mistake." The image of Lisa with another man flashed through my mind, accompanied by a surge of anger and hurt that threatened to overwhelm me. But I forced myself to listen, to understand the circumstances that had led us to this painful juncture. "It didn't mean anything," she insisted, her voice pleading for understanding. "It was a moment of weakness, a lapse in judgment. I never stopped loving you, James. Please believe me." Her words echoed in the silence that followed, a fragile thread of hope amidst the wreckage of our marriage. I searched her eyes for any hint of deception, any trace of the woman I had once trusted with my heart. Questions swirled in my mind. How long had it lasted? Had there been other indiscretions that she hadn't confessed? Could I ever trust her again? But amidst the turmoil, a small voice whispered of forgiveness, a flicker of hope that whispered of the love we had once shared, buried beneath layers of hurt and betrayal. I nodded slowly, acknowledging her words with a heaviness in my heart. "I need time," I said finally, my voice raw with emotion. "I need time to process this." Lisa reached out tentatively, her hand hovering in the air between us. I hesitated for a moment, then took her hand in mine, a tentative gesture of reconciliation amidst the wreckage of our shattered trust. As we sat in the silence that followed, I knew that discovering the truth was only the first step on a long and uncertain journey. The road ahead was fraught with challenges and difficult decisions, but in that moment I allowed myself to believe that love, even in its fractured form, had the power to heal and rebuild what had been lost. The decision to attend marriage counseling weighed heavily on both Lisa and me. We sat in the waiting room of Dr. Anderson's office, our nerves stretched taut with anticipation and apprehension. The air between us crackled with unspoken tension, each of us grappling with our own doubts and hopes for the future. Dr. Anderson welcomed us into her office with a warm smile, her demeanor calm and reassuring. She guided us through the initial session with gentle questions, encouraging us to share our perspectives and feelings without judgment. I spoke first, my words hesitant at first, but gaining momentum as I recounted the turmoil of discovering Lisa's affair. Dr. Anderson listened attentively, offering insights and guidance that helped me unravel the complex emotions that had clouded my judgment. Lisa followed, her voice trembling with emotion as she expressed her remorse and regret. She admitted her mistakes openly, Her vulnerability is stark contrast to the composed facade she often presented to the world. Throughout the counseling sessions that followed, Dr. Anderson guided us through difficult conversations and painful truths. We delved into the underlying issues that had contributed to the breakdown of our marriage, communication barriers, unmet emotional needs, and the erosion of trust. We explored the impact of Lisa's affair on our relationship dynamics, probing the wounds of betrayal and the lingering doubts that threatened to undermine any progress we made. Dr. Anderson's gentle but firm guidance encouraged us to confront our vulnerabilities and fears head-on, fostering a sense of openness and honesty between us. At times, the sessions were emotionally draining. Raw emotions surfaced: anger, hurt, and a profound sense of loss that threatened to engulf us both. But amidst the pain, there were moments of clarity and understanding, glimmers of hope that whispered of reconciliation and healing. Outside of counseling, we continued to navigate the uncertain terrain of our marriage. We implemented Dr. Anderson's recommendations, communication exercises, emotional openness, and mutual respect as we sought to rebuild the trust and intimacy that had been shattered by betrayal. Slowly, tentatively, I began to glimpse a path forward, a path paved with forgiveness, understanding, and a renewed commitment to each other. Lisa's efforts to atone for her mistakes, coupled with my willingness to confront my own vulnerabilities, became pillars of strength as we navigated the rocky road of reconciliation. But beneath the surface, doubts lingered. Could our marriage withstand the scars of betrayal? Could we truly forgive and move forward, or were we merely postponing the inevitable? As we continued our journey through counseling, I grappled with these questions, knowing that the answers would shape the future of our marriage. In the quiet moments between sessions, I sought solace in the belief that love, however bruised and battered, had the power to overcome even the deepest wounds. The impact of our tumultuous journey reverberated beyond the confines of our marriage, touching the lives of those closest to us, most notably our daughter Emily. Emily, at the tender age of 8, sensed the shifting currents within our household. Though we shielded her from the full extent of our struggles, she observed the tension in our interactions and the undercurrents of sadness that lingered beneath the surface. "Mommy, why are you and Daddy sad?" Emily asked one evening, her brow furrowed with concern as she clutched her favorite stuffed bear. Lisa and I exchanged a brief pained glance, unsure of how much to reveal to our daughter. "We're just going through a difficult time, sweetheart," Lisa replied gently, her voice tinged with sadness. "But we love you very much, and we're working things out." Emily nodded solemnly, her young heart intuitively grasping the gravity of our situation. Despite our attempts to shield her from the turmoil, she absorbed the tension like a sponge, her sensitive nature attuned to the emotional undercurrents in our home. As our counseling sessions continued, Emily became a silent witness to the ebb and flow of our efforts to rebuild our fractured marriage. She watched as we navigated difficult conversations and sought common ground amidst the wreckage of trust and betrayal. At times, Emily sought solace in routines, school, ballet class, and playdates with friends, seeking stability amidst the uncertainty that pervaded our home. She clung to the familiar, finding comfort in a semblance of normalcy that remained unchanged despite the upheaval in our family dynamics. But there were moments when Emily's innocence collided with the harsh realities of our situation. She witnessed our tears and heard the strained conversations that echoed through the walls of our home. Her questions, innocent and probing, challenged us to confront the impact of our choices on her young heart and fragile sense of security. Amidst when we were all happy together, Emily confessed one evening, her voice tinged with longing as she snuggled close to me on the couch. I wrapped my arms around her, overcome with a wave of guilt and regret. "I miss that too, sweetheart," I murmured, pressing a kiss to her forehead. "But we're doing everything we can to make things better." In those moments, I resolved to shield Emily from the full weight of our struggles, to preserve her innocence amidst the storm that threatened to engulf us. Her resilience and unwavering love became a source of strength, a reminder of the precious bond that held our family together, despite the cracks that had formed along the way. As we continued our journey of healing and reconciliation, I vowed to prioritize Emily's well-being above all else. to nurture her sense of security and stability, and to ensure that she never doubted the depth of our love for her, even as we struggled to rebuild the fractured foundation of our marriage. Navigating the complexities of our strained marriage extended beyond our immediate family, reaching into the sphere of our friends and social circles. Our closest friends, who had once celebrated our milestones and shared in our joys, now found themselves caught in the crosscurrents of our turmoil. Mark and Sarah, our steadfast friends since college, stood by us with unwavering support. They listened attentively as we shared the ups and downs of our journey, Lisa's tearful confessions, my struggles with forgiveness, and our tentative steps toward reconciliation. Mark, in particular, offered a steady presence amidst the storm. His pragmatic advice and gentle encouragement provided a lifeline during moments of doubt and despair. "Take it one day at a time, mate," he would say, his voice a soothing balm to my frayed nerves. "You'll find your way through this." Sarah, too, extended her support in quiet but meaningful gestures. She organized casual get-togethers and outings, creating opportunities for us to reconnect with our social circle amidst the challenges of rebuilding our marriage. Her laughter and easy camaraderie offered a brief respite from the weight of our struggles, but not all of our friends responded with the same understanding and empathy. Some struggled to reconcile the image of our seemingly perfect marriage with the harsh realities we now faced. Awkward silences and hesitant inquiries marked our interactions, a reminder of the discomfort and uncertainty that surrounded our situation. "Are you guys going to be okay?" One friend ventured cautiously over coffee, her concern etched in the furrow of her brow. Lisa and I exchanged a glance, grappling with how much to reveal. "We're working on it," Lisa replied carefully, her voice tinged with resignation. The conversation tapered off awkwardly, leaving unspoken questions lingering in the air between us. I felt a pang of sadness, a realization that our struggles had irrevocably altered the dynamics of our friendships, casting a shadow over once carefree gatherings. As we navigated our social circles, I found myself grappling with conflicting emotions: gratitude for the friends who stood by us unwaveringly, and a sense of loss for the relationships strained by the weight of our turmoil. Each interaction became a delicate dance of vulnerability and resilience, as we sought to find common ground amidst the fractures that had widened between us. Through it all, I clung to the belief that true friendships, forged in the crucible of shared experiences and mutual support, had capacity to weather even the fiercest storms. Their presence became a beacon of hope, a reminder that we were not alone in our struggles, and that love in all its complexities could transcend the boundaries of pain and uncertainty. The weeks stretched into months as Lisa and I navigated the tumultuous terrain of healing and reconciliation. Our marriage counseling sessions continued, each one a crucible of emotions and difficult conversations that pushed us to confront the deep-seated issues that had driven us apart. Amidst the chaos of our daily lives, moments of clarity emerged, glimmers of understanding and empathy that bridged the chasm between us. Lisa's efforts to rebuild trust and demonstrate her commitment to our marriage were earnest and unwavering. She attended counseling diligently, participated in open and honest discussions, and sought to make amends for her betrayal. For my part, I wrestled with forgiveness, a journey fraught with doubt and introspection. I grappled with the fear of being hurt again, of relinquishing the protective walls I had erected around my wounded heart. But amidst the shadows of doubt, I glimpsed the flicker of hope, a belief that love, in its truest form, had the power to overcome even the darkest moments. Our daughter Emily remained a steadfast presence throughout our tumultuous journey, her innocence and unwavering love a constant source of strength. Her laughter and playful antics reminded us of the precious bond that held our family together, despite the fractures that threatened to tear us apart. As we approached a pivotal moment in our journey, the decision point loomed large before us, a crossroads where we would determine the fate of our marriage. We faced the daunting task of reconciling the painful truths of our past with the possibility of a shared future, a future shaped by forgiveness, resilience, and a renewed commitment to each other. In quiet moments of reflection, I weighed the pros and cons, searching for clarity amidst the swirling currents of emotion. Could I trust Lisa again? Could we rebuild what had been shattered by betrayal? The answers eluded me, elusive and ephemeral as wisps of smoke. But amidst the uncertainty, one truth remained steadfast. My love for Lisa had not wavered. Despite the scars of betrayal, I believed in the depth of our connection, in the resilience of our bond forged through years of shared dreams and aspirations. And so, standing at the precipice of a decision, I summoned the courage to confront my fears and embrace the possibility of forgiveness. With trembling hands and a heart heavy with emotion, I reached out to Lisa, ready to embark on the uncertain path of reconciliation, a journey fraught with challenges, but illuminated by the hope of a future rebuilt on a foundation of trust, understanding, and unwavering love. The day of our final talk arrived with a weight of anticipation and apprehension. We sat across from each other in our living room, the space that had witnessed the highs and lows of our marriage, now a crucible for our most important conversation yet. Silence hung heavy between us, pregnant with unspoken words and emotions that clamored for release. I took a deep breath, steeling myself for the vulnerability and honesty that lay ahead. I've been doing a lot of thinking, I began, my voice steady but laced with emotion, about us, about everything that's happened. Lisa nodded silently, her eyes brimming with tears. She reached out tentatively, her hand trembling as it found mine. "I'm so sorry, James," she whispered, her voice thick with emotion, "for everything." Her apology pierced through the walls I had erected around my wounded heart. I swallowed the lump in my throat, meeting her gaze with a mixture of pain and determination. "I know," I replied softly, my voice barely above a whisper. "And I've been trying to understand, to forgive." The words hung in the air between us, heavy with the weight of our shared history and the uncertain future that lay ahead. I searched her eyes for any trace of deception, any hint of the woman I had once trusted so completely. "I love you," Lisa declared, her voice trembling with sincerity. "More than anything, I know I hurt you, but I want to make things right." Her words stirred conflicting emotions within me, love, anger, and a stubborn flicker of hope that whispered of redemption and renewal. Could I find it in myself to forgive her, to let go of the hurt and anger that threatened to consume us both? "I want to believe you," I admitted, my voice raw with emotion. "But trust is something we can't rebuild overnight." Lisa nodded solemnly, her tears falling freely now. "I understand," she replied, her voice choked with emotion. "I'll do whatever it takes, James. I'll wait for you for as long as it takes." We sat in silence for a moment, the weight of our conversation settling around us like a heavy blanket. In that fragile moment, I glimpsed a path forward, a path paved with forgiveness, understanding, and a renewed commitment to each other. "I don't have all the answers," I confessed quietly, my voice tinged with uncertainty. "But I want to try, for us, for our family." Lisa's eyes lit up with a glimmer of hope, her hands squeezing mine in a silent gesture of gratitude and understanding. "I love you, James," she whispered, her voice trembling with emotion. "Thank you for giving us another chance." As we embraced, a sense of peace washed over me, a tentative hope that amidst the shattered pieces of our marriage, there lay the potential for healing and renewal. Our journey was far from over, but in that moment, I found solace in the belief that love, in all its complexities and imperfections, had the power to transcend even the deepest wounds. In the aftermath of our final talk, a fragile sense of resolution began to take root within our fractured marriage. We embarked on a journey of healing and reconciliation, navigating the challenges and uncertainties, with a newfound commitment to each other and our family. Our marriage counseling sessions continued, providing a safe space for us to confront the lingering wounds of betrayal and rebuild trust brick by painstaking brick. Dr. Anderson's guidance proved invaluable as we delved deeper into the underlying issues that had strained our relationship, unraveling the threads of miscommunication and unmet needs that had led us astray. Together, Lisa and I embarked on a journey of self-discovery and mutual understanding. We explored the complexities of forgiveness and acceptance, confronting our own vulnerabilities and shortcomings with a willingness to learn and grow. Communication became our lifeline, a bridge that spanned the chasm of doubt and uncertainty between us. We learned to listen with empathy, to express our fears and hopes openly, and to navigate disagreements with respect and understanding. Outside the counseling room, We made conscious efforts to rebuild the foundations of our marriage. Date nights became a cherished ritual, a chance to reconnect and rediscover the spark that had ignited our love all those years ago. We laughed, we cried, and we shared moments of quiet intimacy that reaffirmed the bond we had fought so hard to salvage. But our journey was not without setbacks. There were moments of doubt and insecurity, triggers that threatened to unravel the fragile threads of progress we had painstakingly woven together. Old wounds resurfaced, testing our resolve and challenging the resilience of our commitment to each other. Through it all, Emily remained a beacon of hope and inspiration. Her unwavering love and trust reminded us of the stakes involved, the impact of our choices on her young heart and fragile sense of security. We navigated the complexities of Keo parenting with a renewed dedication to shielding her from the turbulence of our past, prioritizing her well-being above all else. As the months passed, the wounds of betrayal began to heal, leaving scars that bore witness to the trials we had overcome. We celebrated milestones, small victories that marked our progress towards a future shaped by forgiveness, resilience, and unwavering love. And amidst the uncertainties of life, one truth remained steadfast. Our journey was far from over, but in the quiet moments of reflection and gratitude, I found solace in the belief that love, in all its imperfections and complexities, had the power to transform and renew what had been broken. With each passing day, the wounds of betrayal continued to heal, and Lisa and I found ourselves moving forward together, hand in hand, towards a future that held the promise of renewed love and trust. Our journey of reconciliation had not been without its challenges, but through perseverance and a shared commitment to rebuilding our marriage, we began to see glimpses of the happiness and stability that had once defined our relationship. Communication remained at the heart of our progress. We continued attending counseling sessions, not as a means to fix what was broken, but as a platform for continued growth and understanding. Dr. Anderson's guidance helped us navigate the complexities of rebuilding trust and addressing the underlying issues that had contributed to our marital strife. Slowly but steadily, we learned to let go of the pain of the past and embrace the possibilities of the future. We implemented strategies to strengthen our emotional connection and deepen our understanding of each other's needs and desires. Intimacy, both physical and emotional, became a cornerstone of our renewed relationship. We rediscovered the joy of shared laughter and quiet moments of companionship. Small gestures of affection, holding hands, spontaneous hugs, and loving gazes reaffirmed the bond that had weathered the storm of betrayal. Outside our marriage, we sought to redefine our roles within our social circles and among our friends. Some friendships had evolved with us, offering unwavering support and encouragement as we navigated the complexities of rebuilding trust. Others required patience and understanding as we worked to rebuild connections strained by the revelations of our past. Emily, our beloved daughter, continued to thrive amidst the changes in our family dynamic. Her laughter and innocent joy served as a constant reminder of the resilience and adaptability of children. We prioritized her well-being and happiness, ensuring she felt secure and loved amidst the changes unfolding in our lives. As we moved forward, we remained vigilant against the pitfalls of complacency. We acknowledged that healing was an ongoing process, one that required diligence, empathy, and a willingness to confront challenges together as a team. In quiet moments of reflection, I marveled at the strength and resilience of our love. Our journey had been marked by pain and heartache, but in overcoming adversity, we had emerged stronger and more committed than ever before. And as we looked towards the horizon of our shared future, I embraced the belief that our love story was not defined by the betrayals of the past, but by the courage and determination to forge a path forward, one shaped by forgiveness, understanding, and an unwavering commitment to each other's happiness and well-being.
Thank you for listening. Please share your opinion about this story in comment section. Also make sure to like and subscribe to the channel.